How many of you know that the Lord is good always? He is almighty, may all honor and glory be to him. If he said you are blessed, he doesn't need to speak on it twice. He will make it come to pass any minute. It is never a rush with God. Strongholds cannot stop his favor to come in your life. That's why, hey, God's promise for me, God's promise but me, God's promise taught me how to pray. God's promise for me, God's promise loves me, God's promise helps me practice grace. God's promise for me, God's promise but me, God's promise taught me how to pray. God's promise for me, God's promise loves me, God's promise helps me practice grace. God's promise for me, God's promise but me, God's promise taught me how to pray. God's promise for me, God's promise loves me, God's promise helps me practice grace. God's promise for me, God's promise but me, God's promise taught me how to pray. God's promise for me, God's promise loves me, God's promise helps me practice grace. Proverbs 19 verses 8 and 9 says, he who gets wisdom loves his own soul. He who cherishes his understanding prospers. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who pours out lies will perish. Many will see your blessing and still choose to criticize you. You cannot please the world, only one can do that, and he is God the Lord. Hold on to God as tight as you can, because through him there is life, there is compassion. Christ is coming for a second time. Oh, get ready, get ready. Give him praise while you are praising. The sick will get healed. God's angels will come here. Christ's favor we must see. God's kingdom remains still. The devil we must kill. Give Jesus your heart today and forever, to be saved from all evil. Plots against your family and curses, everything must fall down for good. Jesus bless those who believe in you. Come on. God's promise for me, God's promise but me, God's promise taught me how to pray. God's promise for me, God's promise loves me, God's promise helps me practice grace. God's promise for me, God's promise but me, God's promise taught me how to pray. God's promise for me, God's promise loves me, God's promise helps me practice grace. Give thanks to God for everything and everything. He will lift you up to worship him, and know that he is God. He cannot fail you. The Red Sea in front of you shall move in the name of Jesus. You have suffered great pains, and now it's time to rejoice in the Lord. Come on, don't be afraid to take a step of faith. Don't lean on your own understanding, but lean on Jesus. Laugh, make a shout of praise, because the pharaohs before you should see them no more. Now you are free, forget your bad habits. Flee from temptation. My people are perished because of lack of knowledge. Now you are in the holy place. Make your request. Call on Jehovah, the greatest of all time. Don't give up. The battle is not yet done. Dwell in his presence. Forgive those who do you wrong. Be content with what you have. Don't envy your neighbors. God knows how to better you, how to prosper you for a new chapter. Bring you a new year. Give you a new mindset. Go to all God's favorite place. Bring a change. Preach the gospel and make disciples. Preach the gospel and make disciples. Go preach the gospel and make disciples. Go preach the gospel and make disciples. Go preach the gospel and make disciples.